Hi everybody, and thanks for listening into this interview with Dale and Anita Speed about one of the really important ingredients that make self-direction a really positive and lasting experience, and that is this issue of mindset. So welcome Dale and Anita.
Thanks.
It's lovely to be talking with you.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. So Anita, we were talking about these ingredients a couple of weeks ago, and I think you were really taken by this issue of mindset. So I'm really keen to explore what you understand by this and why, what's important to you about it. But first, I'd really love for you guys to introduce yourselves. And I think, Dale, you're going to tell us a little bit about your life, which would be great to hear.
Okay. Well, I'll start. I'm Anita. I'm mum of two boys. Dale's 19 and Joel, who's 16. And I also work and have been involved in sort of the disability sector here in Queensland for a number of years as well. So Dale, did you want to talk about what you do?
I do the business I like to do. I like doing it, like make the clients happy and they want me to make it grow short or make it longer.
So what's your business?
The Speedy Weeds.
Yeah, and what do you do in your business?
I do brush cutting, mowing, blowing. I show after mowing to the mower, put it back on the colour and get the blow and blow.
Yep.
And show it to the next job and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you mow people's lawns and you brush cut and make them happy by doing a really good job.
Yeah, the backyard needs two people to get my down some stairs at.
Yeah. So you have somebody that helps you that comes out and does stuff as well.
The stairs a bit heavy for myself doing with the mower.
Yeah, it can be. So you need that second person to help
you.
Don't you? And what else do you do? What's your other job?
KFC. I work from 5:30 to 10.
You
bit
work at
late.
KFC? Yeah. A couple of shifts a week at KFC?
Yeah, because the KFC want me to work Thursday night.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Great. Sorry, I lost you there.
Hello.
Here we are.
I should mention that we're very DIY. We've got 3 sets of headphones because that's the way that we figured out how to all hear each other and record at the same time. I'm sure that there's a better way, but this is the way that we found. So that sounds really terrific, Dale, and I'm keen to hear more about your mowing business. How long have you been doing it for?
Trying to think, about 5 years or...
About 5 months.
5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been at KFC though?
I worked there for over a year.
Probably more like 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a real kind of transition because lots of young people have jobs like that and then they sort of start, as you've done, to move into a more kind of permanent role.
Yeah.
Sounds terrific. And I think I heard earlier that you've got some employees.
Yeah.
What do they help you with?
They'll help me get driving where I can't drive yet without the no license.
Yeah, so they help drive you ute and trailer.
And the trailer's so hard to get out in the mornings.
So what else does your worker help you with?
And do heaps heaps of stuff.
Heaps of stuff in your business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
They're calling by using my work phone once, ring them up and find out how many was the jobs that weren't done.
Yeah, yeah. You sometimes ring the clients though,
yeah.
too, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So between you and the worker, you look after the clients.
Mm. Mm. And I think I heard you have 35 clients.
I think I have 36.
36 clients.
I think it was actually 37.
37. The last count, 37.
They keep you busy, don't they?
That's awesome, Dale. And you were saying there's been a bit of rain recently, so it's people not wanting their lawns mowed?
Because the next closer from my house is named Bernie. She's absolutely fabulous to me. She's awesome.
Libby was asking about the rain. We're needing more rain.
Yeah, we need more rain until next month.
Okay.
Because people's lawns need me mowed until next month. Because my friend Brady's moving out.
Yeah, but you're needing more rain because everything's drying out. So
Okay.
people aren't needing their lawns mowed quite as much as they used to.
Okay.
Because I told them I got 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's gone down from 3 weeks to 4 weeks.
Yeah, until 4 weeks.
To do their lawns.
Mm.
And do their lawns and the hedges and clean-ups.
Mm. So Dale, it's like really exciting to hear about your business and your work at KFC, and I'd really love to talk with you more about that, because I think actually there'd be lots of people who'd be really interested in sort of hearing more about how you got your business running, who helps you, those kinds of things. But today I was going to just talk to you guys. I'm interested in hearing a little bit about what's behind the scenes from that, helping you so that you're right out front doing all of those things.
Yeah.
What's the kind of behind the scenes support that you get?
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
can I answer that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of do most of the behind the scenes
The diaries and stuff.
the diaries and stuff for the business, but also manage the funding. Dale has some community living initiative funding, which is a package that you can apply for here in Queensland, and it's designed to assist people to make connections in the community and move out into their own homes and that kind of stuff. So we were lucky to get hold of that, which is there to support Dale to run his business. So that's what we use to pay his workers when they go out and actually do the lawn mowing and stuff with Dale, and help Dale develop his skills around that. And I manage the behind the scenes stuff, including the funding and the pay,
checking
recruitment and that
my
sort of
work
stuff.
emails and stuff.
Yeah, check your work emails and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we do that through. So the funding sits with an organisation called Bespoke Lifestyle, and they essentially just leave us to it. We just have to do some acquittals at the end of each quarter.
The crew I went to.
The crew.
I spoke to, but the business with Brady and I.
Oh yes, Dale's done some presentations around this as well. So he's saying he did something with crew around that. Yeah, so that's kind of how it works behind the scenes. Is I do all the pays, we do the recruiting, we do all of that. But we do have some people around us that help us out as well. So Dale mentioned his friend Brody, and Brody's helping us out with the recruitment of support workers and
booking it for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're actually interviewing this week.
Okay.
Support workers.
And who else helps you out?
It's only Monique. She was.
What does Monique help you do?
Organise my birthday thing. I rang her and said, "What day you want to go out? To go out and do some stuff like with me, like instead of golf, instead go to the festival, like it's a German Jazz festival.
Yeah, the October Fest.
350 going, 300 people going, 350. The big one.
So Monique helps you out with your social.
Yeah, and Circle hasn't not done us not well. Circle.
Yeah, we haven't seen the circle hasn't really come together.
Yeah.
As much as it used to.
Because my friend now has 2 babies.
Yeah. So who else? Well, Natalie helped you with KFC, didn't she?
Yeah.
She helped you get that job.
And now Bernie's.
Well, who's Bernie?
Bernie's manager. I do lawns often.
Yeah. So Bernie's Dale's manager at KFC, and she's also asked him to do her lawns. So that's all cool.
She's great. Awesome.
Yeah. She sounds like it.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. So it's kind of, I get a picture of it's you guys, and then there's a service provider called Bespoke Lifestyles, and then there are other people in your life who help you out to do things. So is that the kind of, would you describe that as your support, as your kind of support structure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's some formal and informal support that's around all of this. Yep.
So that's quite different from the way services traditionally happen for people, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that if we were working with a traditional service, none of this could happen. I think the reason that it works is that we have full control, and that we're with the self-direction. Although we sometimes need some help with that, we direct that. So I think a traditional service wouldn't be able to give us what we need for Dale to have the life that he has. And Bespoke have been really helpful by letting us do what we need to do and being able to approach them if we do need help, particularly around. Their role really is very much around planning and just putting the budget, helping us put the budget together around the plan, and being available if we need need advice and that sort of stuff.
Okay, great. So Dale and Anita, I guess when I was talking to you about mindset, I'm talking about new roles and responsibilities, as we've just discussed, for people as they've had increasing opportunities to self-direct. So it's like whole new areas of learning, and that can be both positive and negative. It's like such a flip around, as we've just said, from the way that services traditionally happen. So when we were talking, this was you were saying, Anita, that mindset is really important in this. I'm wondering if you could tell us what you think, what you understand by the term mindset, and what's important about that.
Okay. Well, how I see mindset is basically a set of beliefs and values that we have, or a philosophy in how supporting someone is approached. So I think it's the fundamental approach. So mindset is a way of thinking. It's a certain way of being, and it's made up of certain assumptions and values and beliefs, as I said. So it's very different what we're doing in supporting Dale to create the life that he wants, and it's a different mindset and a different way of thinking than the traditional service models. So
what makes it different?
Well, I think that we challenge our assumptions about the capability of people, and there's something about deep listening. It's a one-person approach, one person at a time approach rather than a blanket approach. When we talk about Dale to other people and to prospective clients, and when he was going for KFC and work experience and all of those kinds of things, it's always been about Dale and his strengths rather than his disability, and I think that really helped when people saw Dale as a whole person rather than the disability, and then all the assumptions come into play and get in the way.
You were talking to me when we first had this conversation, Anita, about some things that you did in the early days that helped you guys, I guess, get these sorts of thoughts together. You were talking about pave the ways. Wondering if you could explain a little bit about that, those steps that you took.
Yeah. So in the early days, we surrounded ourselves with people that were of like mind. I think that's a really important aspect. And we got involved with Pave the Way, who assisted us in doing some really detailed practical planning. So, for example, Jeremy Board came out and just facilitated a planning session with us, and with some people that are close to Dale and really cared about Dale, and thought through some things, what we could practically do to help him create the life that he wants. And we sort of started with Dale's ideas, but also about what's typical for a person his age. So at the time he was 16, so we looked at, what do typical 16-year-olds do? And that's how KFC came to be. So that planning was really important in actually getting very intentional about creating that environment, or creating the reality, a new type of reality for him, and getting people on the same page as well. So we didn't have a lot of family, but we've got some great neighbours and other great people that really care for Dale, and we just got them together and did it as a bit of a think tank. Got people's ideas and made a very practical plan from that, and then implemented it.
And Dale, how did you get involved in that? Do you just turn up with your ideas, or did you know a lot of things that you wanted to do for yourself already?
I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's true. Dale wasn't sure about a few things when we had these meetings, but what would happen is that people would come up with different ideas, and then we'd test those ideas with Dale and reframe different thoughts so that he could kind of get a bit of an understanding of what some of those ideas were, and then he'd let us know if that was something that would interest him or not. And and people came with different ways of doing that. So it wasn't just Mark and I reframing the questions or whatever. Everybody did that in their own way, which is really good, because other people kind of framed things and ideas in different ways that we wouldn't have thought of either. And sometimes, if we ain't asked a question in a certain way, Dale might go, no, I'm not interested in that. But somebody else might frame it in a different way and we'll go, actually, no, that sounds pretty good, or vice versa, Yeah. So that was kind of how that went.
Yeah. Except if you're asked to move out with your brother.
Definitely not.
So it's pretty clear about that. So it's pretty clear about wanting to move out into his own place, but not necessarily with his brother.
I'm with friends, yeah, well.
With friends?
Like, my friend Aaron said, yeah, hey Aaron, the question is, you still want to move out with me? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So what Dale's saying is basically he'd like the idea of moving out and maybe with some friends, and there's a couple of friends that may be interested in doing that. So that's kind of what we're exploring at the moment as well.
Fantastic. So Anita, I'm imagining with such an effort on your part, there might be some peaks and troughs. Is that your experience?
Absolutely.
And what kind of when we're thinking about mindset, what helps you to kind of ride those peaks and troughs, and have there been some difficulties along the way, and kind of what keeps you going?
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of peaks and troughs, and we're still in the beginning of it as well. We've only been doing this for about 5 or 6 months now this year, but we kind of expect it to smooth out as we work things out as we go along. I guess what keeps us going is the vision. Like, we're just really clear that Dale's life is to be one that is of his own determination and is meaningful and all of that. So when we do hit the hard times and, the moments where I sort of go, this is just really hard, and it is, there are moments when it's really, really hard. What keeps us going is the belief in that Dale should have a meaningful life that is right for him. And I guess the ways that we safeguard a lot of that is, one is being really clear about the vision, but also having really good people around us that think in a similar way and are very supportive in that. So if I have a low moment, I can ring somebody, or I can email somebody or Facebook somebody and just go, what do I do from here? And I know that there's so many people that can come out of the woodwork and sort of say, look, keep going, you're on the right track, that this is the right thing to do. And that's what keeps us going. Yeah.
So you're saying it's really so important, because this pathway is quite a lot of work, and it's quite different to the way that traditional service happens. So it's a sort of flipping of everything almost, even though it's completely natural. Actually, it's sort of almost flipping what we normally do. You're saying if you're going to go down that path, because of the work involved, it's so important to have the vision, because that's what's going to kind of keep you going through it all. Yeah,
absolutely. It's been really, really clear of our commitment to Dale having the life that he wants, and because part of the barriers for that, I mean, it is the most natural thing in the world. I mean, this is what happens for other people, so why should it be so hard? But it is, because I believe that there's some societal structures that get in the way of this being natural. So there can be pushback from people, and it's that assumption stuff. So again, that mindset's just really important, and the commitment to that philosophy is really important to keep you on track with that. But I don't want people and families to think that this is an easy thing to do, because our experience is that it has had moments of being quite difficult. And but we've had some, just looking at the fact that Dale has his own business and he works at KFC on full pay, and he's got a really good social life, and he'll move out into his own home, and that sort of stuff is how it ought to be. So it's just really important, and we're very committed to that.
So if you were talking to other families and other people about this pathway, we've talked quite a bit about the mindset and vision and philosophy values in the first place. Are there other things that you think would be really important to let people know, really important lessons or things to have in place as part of this journey?
Yeah, I think last time you asked me about the top 3, and I guess the top 3 for me is definitely the vision. You just need to get really clear. And what I mean by clear is not so much that you know exactly what that's going to look like. We didn't know 5 years ago that Dale would be actually running his own mowing business as such. What we did know was that he really enjoyed mowing, but we didn't quite know what that looked like. But so when you get clear about a vision, it's not necessarily knowing how to do that. It's just getting clear about a certain direction. So that's where the vision stuff's really important and keeps you kind of on track. But it's also about the networks that you develop around yourself, and surrounding yourself with like-minded people and families, and hearing stories, and just having the right people around you. So networks are really important, and mentors. And the other part to that, I think, that's really important is about personal development. So it's getting really, it's the know thyself kind of stuff. So I really needed to challenge my own assumptions about Dale's abilities at times, and I've had to be willing to be challenged by other people as well, and just get to know what presses my buttons, what works, what doesn't work, and how to get out of my own way sometimes, or how to get out of his way at times. So that takes a commitment as well. But I think they're the three important elements I've identified. I'm sure there's others.
And within that personal development area, Anita, have there been particular things that you've done that you think could help other people?
Yeah, well, I did things like the Myers-Briggs type indicator, and been to different seminars and read certain books, and talked to different types of people around this kind of thing, and having worked in corporate as well, having been involved in some development workshops and leadership development and that sort of stuff, has been really helpful for me, just to have those opportunities to have a look at what drives me, and what what assumptions I make about things.
Hey Dale, we can't see you now.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit boring talk. I'm going to come to you in a moment.
Yeah. So I've just been lucky that there's been opportunities, but I've taken those opportunities, as I said, to really try and understand myself, and my husband's done the same thing as well. And part of the beauty of having a circle, even though it's not terribly formal, but the people that are involved in Dale's circle will challenge us as well. So we get it from all angles, really. We get a lot of mirrors put up to see what we can do well sometimes, and what we do that gets in the way at times as well. But I think it's a very humbling experience. I think it's been worthwhile being able to step back and go, okay, I've got these foibles, I've got these blind spots, and it's been good to identify some of those.
So Dale, yeah.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit more about your mowing business, Dale. It's called Speedy Weeds, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And was it your dad's business?
Yeah, he sold it to me. He sold it. He's selling it to me. He's selling it.
I'm not sure he sold it to you. He handed it over to you.
Yeah, my dad's gave it to me. He handed it over. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that where you got your love of mowing from? It was your dad's business, and you were kind of helping him out?
Yeah, because me and Dad done 14 jobs in one day.
That was pretty big, wasn't it?
Yeah.
14 in one day?
Yeah.
Wow.
But when did you do that? When were you working with Dad?
I don't know. I think it was me and Dad left about 8 o'clock in the morning and get all his jobs done.
Yeah, but it was during the school holidays and things, wasn't it? So
yeah.
You've been doing it for a few years.
Yeah, a few years, and they're now finished school, and I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah.
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 So it sounds to me, Dale, like it's just a very natural kind of your experiences growing up with your dad and your family, and all of that's been thought about to kind of take you to the next step in your life. It's not rocket science, as they say. It's just about noticing what's already happening and building on it. Would you say that that's the case?
Yeah, I think so. It was also just getting really listening to Dale too. So it's interesting that, when he was doing some work experience, and he did work experience at Big W and a few other places, and although he really enjoyed it at the time, and he'd sort of say, I want to work for Big W right at the time, we had to try and really understand whether that was a here and now kind of thing that
Stafford
you wanted.
And now I work at the nursery is such a pain to do.
Oh yeah, and he worked in the nursery and stuff as well, and that wasn't as enjoyable as he said.
Wasn't worked.
Yeah. So, But what was really consistent over the years was that his love of mowing. He just loved mowing. So he'd be mowing our backyard. I'd come home and he'd be mowing or brush cutting or doing that sort of stuff. So we kind of took that as a cue that this is something he really wants to do. So when Mark started the lawn mowing business a few years ago, it wasn't with a view for Dale taking over. That's kind of developed over time. It was like, well, maybe that's the way to do it. And Dale was really interested in that process, and so we kind of went with that. But we did plan it, and we did, and it was quite a, we got other people involved to think it through about what that might look like and what he might need and what sort of funding we could apply for. And we're still working that through as well, because some of it's, there's still blurry lines between the funding and what's profit from the business and, who should be paying the worker for what kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of how it came to be. But it was pretty intentional. It's okay, I'll check in.
Everything okay?
Yeah. I tell Mum to check her phone. Maybe her
phone just beeped. So
okay.
Yeah.
It's
good on you.
Check that in a minute.
So Anita, just maybe as one final question before we wrap up. It's interesting that we've talked a lot about this sort of flipping of roles and this kind of different path and what traditionally happens with services. So sometimes what strikes me is that there are services involved, and as you say, the service is great and doing what's needed when you need it. But there's a lot of stuff that often sits with people and families now. It seems like a lot of work. Do you feel that it's a lot of work sometimes?
It can be, but it feels more natural this way.
Okay.
It just wasn't, having support workers that were kind of assigned to you or assigned to Dale didn't feel natural. It was kind of like, strangers coming into the house or it just didn't feel natural. So this seems to be a much more natural way of doing things. And yes, there is hard work involved, but I'd like to think it was probably smooth out. We're still relatively new to all of this. But it's good having the control. It feels good to have the control and be able to manage all of this. We do have help. So Dale mentioned his friend Brodie before, and Brodie's helping us with the recruitment, and Bespoke helps us with the finance side of things and how to budget and do all of that sort of stuff. So, and we're also pretty good at reaching out for help when it comes to different things and hopefully delegating some stuff. And so that helps. So we're not feeling like we're isolated with the hard work, but it does have its moments of being fairly difficult. I mean, we're going through a bit of a thing at the moment with having to bring on another support worker because his last support worker is going to be leaving at the end of the year. So we have to kind of work that transition through and train this other person up. And, we know that's going to be fairly heavy going for a little while. But, but so far it's been really good. Dale feels like he owns his business. And that in itself is great. So,
okay, guys. Any final comments before we wrap up? Anything that you'd like to let people know is from your experience is important, or any lessons, thoughts?
Did you want to say anything?
Because I'm wanting to be the boss of him instead of I'll be the boss of him, boss of Aaron.
Aaron is his current support worker, and he says to Dale, you need to be the boss of me, and which is Dale takes on with relish.
Yeah, that's great.
So he bosses Dale around. Dale bosses Aaron around.
Yeah, boss him around.
Yeah. Look, I guess a message from me to families is that don't be scared of the hard work. You just need to be really clear about the big picture, because the payoff is often greater than what you can actually imagine. And I also believe in a thriving family, not just a thriving son. It's something that part of this planning and everything is for all of us. It's not just so that Dale has a great life, which is obviously extremely important, but we have another son who needs support at different times as well, and as a family we need to be thriving, so it was also important that nobody else kind of had to make these enormous sacrifices in order for Dale to have this meaningful life. And I think part of that is, so the planning's been really important with that, and bringing those people into our lives has been really important for that. Because I don't think that works either, you know. We're a unit and we all need to function well. So yeah, I think that'd be a takeaway for me, for families.
Hey guys, thank you so much.
Very welcome.
For your time. We'll talk again soon, I'm sure. Thank you. Thank you, Dale.